This is the second video using the application information screen. That video should be run from this button. What we're going to be covering in this video is a little bit more about the actual tabbed area. The tabbed area, as it was explained in the last video, is used by a developer or a user to give an example of an answer to a question that was stated by the person that added the question in the topic. If you're looking at a current topic where there is a question, or it can be a topic that is just a topic level subject where people can add different things that are of interest. For example, if this says general code block, or not code block, but data grid information as a title topic, then that would be everything to do with general questions and answers about the data grid. What you normally do when you have a question, in this particular case it was about the slideshow, the person that answered it gave relevant information. First thing they did was told the person different handlers that are used in managing a slideshow. The script location is at the card level. There is a dictionary item to look up. In this case, it's show next slide. The area down here would be scripting limits. If you have scripting limits and you're a developer that has a lot of experience and understands that certain things will or will not work, you can annotate that here and give another reference for people to look at that would be more help. If you have a specific script that you want to be at the head level up here where it says script syntax, you can paste it into here and then it'll show up on the next screen under the tab when you go to the portal. So a simple slideshow, and then it starts out giving a narrative here. If you look at the portal record for this area, for this record, it's going to bring up that information that you were just reviewing. But now what it does, it shows you this is library ID number 8, which is the record we were in. This is the handler information. And as you click on each one of these, they're going to expand so you can read the whole piece of information. The script location, this is kind of important as far as, for example, me as a new user, I want to know where it's acceptable or other information that's related to where the script should be. For example, if the script is at the card level and you're doing a special handler to call the script at the card or stack level, that should be explained here. If there's a restriction, for example, of something that doesn't work at a certain level, like it has to be at the card or it has to be at the stack level, then you would put that in there and give an explanation about the script location. The dictionary is obvious. You can put the information here, or you can actually go into the dictionary and paste in the actual description below here if that's something you want to do. The script purpose is the actual breakdown, and this is actually taken from the information that was provided in a lesson where it actually broke down all the information about using that particular piece of information. And this is where this code book comes in. This is where it really is designed to help people. For example, I was saying before, if you wanted to do a find and you wanted to know, for example, let's use dissolve fast. If I just copy this on my keyboard or whatever I'm using, and then do a find, and then go ahead and just drop back into this field and put dissolve fast in here, every place in the entire database where the word dissolve fast or the phrase is, it will find every handler and script where that is used, if that was part of the important thing that you're looking for. The same thing would provide the same answers for video effect or any other part of a script that you're looking for specific information and where it may have been used before. Where this really becomes important is where it's a specific type of script where the script information is relevant to only a few instances where it's used, and as it's used or added by somebody else, or a custom function or something is used, and then the reference where you can do the custom function or behavior, for an example, how it can be used to be more relevant as far as providing an answer for somebody, then that should be added here as well. If you have a script limit, script limits are what I was referring to as things you do and don't want to do. For example, if you're doing a topic in the dictionary and you find that it has some limiting factor, then you want to write in there that this particular thing is only for iOS and it won't work on Android. Or if you're using it in iOS, this will work for Android, but only under the following circumstances. This is very, very valuable information for users to understand the limits of what they can do with that particular script or syntax. This record here, like I said, is fully searchable. And if you want to get back to the main record, you would click on the app information that would take you there. Or if you wanted to list the code library listing, you could click here and it would show all the stuff that's in different records within the code libraries. And if you wanted, when you leave here, if you did a search, make sure to click the Show All button again to bring back all the menu, all the options and information that was in here before. You can move between records in the same set by clicking Next, and you'll notice that the library ID moved to number 9. That's because that is a next topic subject. If I were moving side to side on records and I wanted to go back to number 8, click number 8, go back to the app information. Then if there is another answer in the tab area and the portal area, you can click on this one and read the next one in the portal records. I want to bring to your attention that on the record number 1, which I'm going to pop to here, under number 1, what I did is I took the user guide and I changed the functionality of the way that this app works. I took the entire user guide, well, a good part of it, and what I did is I listed it as a topic, and then I put in the user guide in its full amount of information and basically listed some general information over on this side. But what I did is I offered all of the relevant information for each portal topic. And if you look over here, you'll see that it actually is listed for using property profiles and so forth. If somebody wants to embellish upon this and add in additional information that will support more information that was provided in the user guide, they can go ahead and do that and make this more meaningful as a searching index library. Okay, so for that purposes, you will see that there are quite a few of the subjects, and you can scroll and you'll notice that almost the entire user guide is in here all the way through. And if you do a find on a field in the portal, say for example in this particular field in the portal, what it's going to do is it's going to look through all the records to find that information where it's relevant. So it becomes really important when you get over into the portal record and doing searches in this field. So for example, if I did a find and I look for a video effect or like I was doing in the last part of this tutorial, that would find everything relevant in the user guide that has to do with that information. Once you're there, then you can go next and previous and cycle through those particular records to see what is actually involved. So for example, you'll notice when I'm clicking now, all of these things that I'm viewing here are in library number 1. The number doesn't change up here because what I'm doing is I'm looking through all the records for the user guide instead of just using the topic level information that was at the top of the screen. So I can actually thumb through the entire user guide and look at all the information and scripting and everything that's required as far as information that is provided. Parameter variables, for example. This is a very good way to search for any kind of information that is relevant to you. For example, like I kept saying, item size might be an issue that I would do a find for and find out every place that it shows up in the user guide, and then I can read through everything that relates to that. This expands on the dictionary as well. For example, if you take the dictionary information and add the dictionary topic information for looking up something, you can add everything that's relevant to a certain thing like variables that is in the dictionary and or embellish upon that where your experience shows that there is more information that is provided that would be helpful to the users. The same thing for script syntax. You may go in there and explain certain things about the syntax and usage of and multiple usages of a certain type of a script that's listed down here with your own approach to using it. And then in that case, you want to mark on it whoever actually added the syntax. So if people have questions, they can come back to you and ask you about how you did it and why you did it that way. So this is supposed to be helpful in finding all kinds of information within this particular tab. The next tab is the script snippets. And what this is, in the particular case I'm looking at in the library right now, it's all the different individual page things now, the way I set it up. But if I move to the next field or the next record, let's go back to number 8. In number 8, if there was information in here for code snippets, The snippets could be individual snippets that are related to the topic that you are answering on, and you can add those in here. And you can see data where else used. This is where, if you know it's used in different locations where it might be more helpful to a user, then you would add that particular information in here. You would title the snippet so people can understand what you're trying to do. And other information as far as this snippet could be added here about the usage of it. The creation date is the date that you actually added that snippet so people will know how old it is. And that's kind of relevant when it's 1900 or 2008 or whatever, like some of the things I've read on different sites where it is really probably not relevant anymore. Adding images. This tab is kind of interesting. The original way it was designed is so you could add direct information when you're on FM Go. You could paste right from the library in FM Go to add stuff in here. It's kind of limited on the server because servers are protected against viruses being added directly through adding graphics, which is a good feeder for viruses. So what you can do is, say, for example, you actually have a photograph up on the internet on a website. Let's say that there's an image in here and I just right mouse click on it. This drop down on the website would have one selection that says copy image URL. If you copy that URL image and then come down here and then go into this area down here, you can go ahead and add that particular URL. I have an example of that here somewhere. I'm going to find it. Here it is, where I actually copied the URL from the image. Then I pasted it in here. Then I click this button. It'll paste it in from that particular URL, the actual image. If you want to take somebody, for example, to a whole topic area where there is a particular URL involved, you can put the URL in here, copied from the URL entry on the web page, paste that in here, and then when the person clicks on this, it'll bring up the browser on either iPad or any kind of device that you're on. It'll bring up the browser and provide you with that screen view. So it allows you to get a lot more information in two areas, plus an image of it. Now, on some of these records in here, I've added a lot of information. If you want to, as far as images, if you want to add them, I recommend that you get FM Go on your iPad, and I'll tell you how to add those in here so they can be annotated and added. The image name is the image name plus any information you want to add about it. And where is the image used, if it's a specific piece of image, or it is something that you added from your own archives, you want to annotate in there that it is actually something that you provided. The image size, the reason I put the image size in there, if you're using the iPad and you are concerned about adding large images, I want to keep these images fairly small so that people that are using this do not have to wait for images to open up that are very large. Try to keep them under 200 kilobytes. In this case, this is, says 3 megabytes, but it's actually 3.65 kilobytes as far as the full size of the other information that I wanted to relate to you is on the tabs. This is related externals and plugins. This is where anything that is relevant to the subject that you're answering would be added. You do not have to put in the lay ID. That is already put in there for you. The name of the external or the name of the plugin, the date or the version and date of the actual external. I'm finding that some of these are so old that they're probably not relevant anymore. So putting the version and date in there is important. And how is it used? And then any scripting that might be relevant to how that particular information is used. If you're putting in here that it has to be put in the plugins folder in my live code, then that would be something relevant. If it's not that, and all it has to be done is on added to the desktop or how it's called, put that information in here. And once again, on all of these, there is a portal record. If you're clicking on some of these, that will take you into, for this example, a large view of the image that you're looking at in case it's something that's hard to view in the other screen. You can go back to the app again and then pop back into the image screen. And for example, let's go to the snippets. If you go to the snippets portal, it'll bring up the snippets in a larger view so you can see them in a larger view if you need to. And the same thing it already showed you with the code library portal, where you can go into the code library and see the information in a larger view. That completes the tabs in this area. The next video will be on the specifics of the other screens that are in this application. Thank you.